Hello, my name is Erick Lundstrom, and this is our group's poster presentation titled A Mixed Methods Analysis of Hazard Perceptions in the West Virginia Logging Industry. Nationally, logging has the highest occupational fatality rate of any industry. West Virginia has a disproportionately high logging industrial fatality rate when compared to the national average. This is theorized to be because of the state's mountainous terrain and the high percentage of the tree species in the state which are hardwoods, the harvesting and processing of which are more dangerous than softwoods. Despite the dangerous nature of the logging industry in West Virginia, few studies have investigated hazard perceptions within the industry, and to our knowledge, none have compared owner-operators and workers' perceptions of occupational hazards. Thus, our study aims were to analyze the perceptions of the West Virginia logging industry both quantitatively and qualitatively, as well as to compare and contrast between owner-operators and workers' perceptions of hazards. Paper surveys with questions pertaining to the perceptions of occupational hazards were administered at West Virginia Division of Forestry Best Management Practices sessions. Responses were recorded using a 4-point Likert scale with no neutral option. After collection of the surveys, these responses were dichotomized into two categories: agree and disagree. Multivariate logistic regression was used to control responses for age, and an odds ratio with 95% confidence intervals was used to compare the responses of owner-operators and workers. A subset of volunteer participants from our survey respondents were selected to participate in semi-structured telephone interviews. These interviews were recorded, transcribed, entered into Microsoft Excel, and organized into emerging themes using word topic repetition. Our survey and interview results showed both similarities and differences between owner-operators and workers' perceptions of hazards. In terms of similarities, our surveys showed no significant difference between owner-operators and workers' perceptions regarding the ubiquity of workplace injuries and hazards, as well as the importance of personal protective equipment. Interviews indicated that all participants had witnessed, and all but one had experienced, a serious job-related injury. Additionally, both owner-operators and workers cited West Virginia's mountainous terrain as a barrier to the utilization of mechanization, and therefore as a barrier to safe work. For example, one worker said, "They have tree cutters, but I've never seen one in this state. And my theory is, the more people you have on a piece of equipment, the less likely they are to get hurt. But there's trees in West Virginia that you just have to cut by hand. You just can't cut them no other way." In terms of differences, owner-operators were less likely than workers to agree that financial gain compensates for risk of injury. Additionally, owner-operators were less likely than workers to agree that injuries are sometimes underreported because they're just part of the job. Interviews indicated that owner-operators view worker inexperience and overconfidence as a barrier to safe work. However, workers often cited pushes for production as a barrier to safe work. For example, one worker stated, when asked what contributes to unsafe work, that productivity is running. The faster you can get it done, the faster you can get it out, the more money you make. Our finding that both owner-operators and workers agree that personal protective equipment is important on the logging job site both supports and contrasts previous literature. While most loggers internationally report that using PPE makes them feel safer, studies have found that West Virginia loggers report that wearing PPE makes them feel less safe. Previous literature supports the workers' assertion that pushes for production contribute to unsafe work. For example, a study of the Finnish logging industry analyzed the transition from a piece rate system to time-based wages in the 1970s. This was associated with a decrease in occupational injuries. Furthermore, loggers in West Virginia may be currently experiencing an increase in production pressure due to the decreasing number of loggers employed in the state and the increasing volume of timber being exported. We believe that the primary strength of our study was the large survey sample size of 245, which represents approximately 22% of the logging workforce in 2015. However, our study was limited by the possible selection bias that came with collecting data from West Virginia Division of Forestry BMP sessions, which excludes several logging workers which are not seeking certification. We believe that future studies should analyze the effect these differences in occupational hazard perceptions have on the successful implementation of job site safety management programs in the logging industry of West Virginia. This is a list of references used in this presentation. Thank you for your time.